also see this because, for me, at least in my mind, because I am a person for whom two different things can exist in a same person. Two different things can coexist because I am also a person for whom it does. There are a lot of paradoxes that exist within me as a
Yeah,
person, and I have been in a self discovery journey like ever since my childhood because I'm so curious about myself, that I have noticed that I am this, but I am also this. I can be a PhD student, but I am also an artist. I can be this. I can coexist. It is not like I just have one label. So I also think this is, if I see it in you, or if I see it in any other person, I also have noticed in one or two other, very few, very handful, one or two, let's say. I have noticed it in some people as well. Uh, I have seen things coexisting and coexisting beautifully. And that is something not foreign to me. And that is something that does not intimidate me. For me, I'm like, okay, he can be an asshole, but he can also do this. So I have to respect him for what he's doing there because I cannot do that and I have to learn that. It comes from that place of knowing that two things can coexist in a person at the same time, and it is okay.
hey home. So welcome back to another episode of Exploring Beyond the Superficial podcast. Here we do exactly what the name means. This is a three-part series of my conversation with Ratula, who is a childhood friend of mine and a PhD researcher. It's about growing up and handling life as a geek, which is a label both me and Ratula fall under. For if you haven't already, I suggest to go to part 1 and 2 of the series before this episode, otherwise it will hurt my OCT. For the last episode, which was part 2, we had a conversation on religion, metaphysics, the mind body connection, visualization of ideas, managing a day as a geek, choosing a career as a geek, commitment versus attachment, and of course introversion versus extroversion versus public speaking. And for this episode, which is part 3 and the final part, we follow up on a conversation on introversion versus extroversion, but we also dig into being a night owl, having routines, dreaming, collaboration versus competition, and of course ended with some final thoughts. And this is just for our fellow geeks all about the world, whoever's watching this. So let's dig in.
And oh, I have a funny joke running around in my office all the time that these colleagues of mine, they love to joke about it, everything. So they say that, so for me, Saturday and Sunday is something I just sit at home because I'm mentally very tired from the rest of the week because I'm investing too much of my mental energy in my work. Okay. I do not go out on Saturday, Sundays much. I mean, I might go for a hike sometimes with a friend or something if there is a plan to plan, but very rarely. I will just go to the grocery store to maybe pick up a few things. That's it. For me, that is it. Saturday, Sunday, and they are like, "So what do you do? Like, what do you do?" I'm like, I paint, I read books, I stay at home, I see some Netflix and talk with my family sometimes if it's important. And I just be like, I do nothing. I really do nothing. I just let myself be and completely just enjoy being myself. No one judging me, no one telling me anything. And because that is how I recharge. So I think the way you recharge is actually something your extroversion or introversion or whatever is basically, because there are people I know there are people who uh regularly goes on Saturday, Sunday to party, and still they can come to work on Monday like
Yeah, for them
fully
going to
charged.
that, yeah, for them going
Yeah,
to that party is the
that's how
recharging.
they get. Yeah, but for me, I cannot even wake up the next day to go to work, or I will be like in terrible condition. Yeah. Um, I've tried a few times, doesn't work. I have to
My,
take a painkiller the next day to keep working to stop my headache. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Even if I'm not drinking, I would just be tired just interacting with so many people.
yeah. So, if I have that kind of social interaction planned, which is rare because not many close friends live here, but if that happens, I try to push it to Friday because Saturday
Hmm.
for me is letting loose. Like on other days, I have an alarm which I
Yeah,
push out and don't exactly wake up on the alarm time.
exactly,
But
exactly.
I like
I have,
have some
I
kind.
like use like I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
I
set
exactly.
alarms so that I can up around the time I'm supposed to reach at the office. But I'm always
Yeah, yeah.
I
I have only
always
one alarm. I don't have multiple alarms, but I snooze it multiple times.
no, no,
But
no.
for
I have
Saturday, I have nothing. Like I
me
wake
too.
up
For Saturday,
whenever I
Sunday,
wake up.
no.
Sunday, I
Exactly.
usually wake up in some. I don't put any alarm, of course, but I wake up in some proper timing. But for Saturday, I just
I also
wake up
give
whatever.
myself Saturday actually. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
also something
Today
I
I
do
woke
Saturday.
today I woke up at 3:30 p.m.
No, no, no. For me, it's not so wild. For me, late would be like 9:30 or 10.
That is not late.
Here it is late because here in general, I would wake up around 7 every morning.
I wake up around somewhere between 10 to 11 on weekdays. My
Oh,
alarm is
I
on
cannot.
10 a.m.
I cannot because my working reporting hour is 9:30.
That is that is
Uh,
not late. That is not late at all. That
yeah,
doesn't count.
yeah.
That doesn't.
No, and that's why, on weekends I try to also, because I cannot sleep at such a stretch now anymore. In India, I could. I mean,
But
whenever I was,
it's not exactly me sleeping at a very long stretch because I
but for you
Friday.
it makes sense because you are awake the whole night. Here, I sleep at
Oh yeah,
11 p.m.
shit.
normally. Yeah.
That's when I go to bath. Usually. Like
Oh
I
God.
take a bath at night because like
Me too.
I'm
Here,
cycling in
here,
the
here,
evening. I'm
here.
cycling in
I
the
also take
evening,
it.
then having dinner. I'm sweaty. It doesn't make sense to have a bath in the morning because I will be sweaty in the evening anyway.
Yeah. I also take bath in the evening because here, it snows and everything, and I also come back from the office and yeah, it's a mess. So I always take bath in the evening.
No, that's not
Um,
as much. But
yeah, but
Fridays are my movie nights. So
mm,
like I have regular day stuff which I aim to at end at 1 a.m. but usually go beyond that. And
mm.
after that I watch a movie. So I Friday
It's
nights
like
I
rewarding yourself.
yes, yes. So Friday nights
I know this.
I sleep even later than usually, which is already late.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not exactly sleeping for 10 hours, but I'm completing my
I
sleep.
understand. I understand. For me, I complete this sleep by maybe I'll wake up at 10, cook, like eat my breakfast, cook a little bit for my lunch or something, and then I again sleep in the afternoon for 2 hours.
No,
Uh,
I don't take afternoon naps.
no, no, no.
The
I
thing
do
is,
it on weekend.
I'm
Mm.
really bad with naps. Like nap is what you take 1 hour, half an hour stuff. I
Mm.
don't do that. If I take a nap, I wake up after 4 hours. So I realize
No,
that I
I'm
can't
also
do that.
terrible with I'm also terrible with this, what they call it, this short naps.
Power nap.
Forgot. Power nap, right? Yeah, right. I'm terrible with power naps. I cannot do it half an hour. It is never half an hour for me. It has to be minimum 2 hours. Like otherwise, what do you call it, right? Like মানে বাঙালিদের ভাত ঘুম যেটা তো হাফ অ্যান আওয়ার কিসের ঘুম হবে so it will never work like
But
that.
that bhadgum thing is for half or 1 hour because I've seen the Bengali daily routine
Ah,
thing is they lunch, take a small nap, and then complete rest of the day's work.
for me, even in school after lunch, it was also 2 to 3 hours. So maybe it's a conditioning for me.
Maybe.
My mom tried to wake me up before, like, you have to study, you have a tuition. I will change my tuition so that it fits to the schedule that I can take a nap. But it didn't work out very well sometimes because sometimes we had tuitions after school or something. Yeah, always it didn't, but I did it as much as I could. I was like, with naps, I never compromised. I was like, because this is, I'm also a person who dreams very less. I don't know if it is also same with you or something. I
Oh,
I do
how do
not
you
see a
define
lot.
dreaming?
I do not see a lot of dream in my sleep.
Okay.
I sleep deep,
Okay. No,
so
I
deep.
do dream. Like I sleep very deep as well.
Hmm.
Like, but I dream. But the thing is, I don't think I like I daydream a lot as well. So I'm not sure the
I
dream
know.
I'm
I
referring
think
to.
I think for you it kind of flows, like it's kind of continuous. It's like a
Yeah. I
continuation.
think it's like a continuous. It's not like I'm dreaming at night, falling
Yeah,
asleep.
yeah, yeah,
So
I
that's a bit
understood. I
confusing.
understood.
I cannot say I have
No,
dreamt at
no.
night or in the day. Like it's
For
yeah.
me, if I do not have, mostly I sleep very well, and I have there are a lot of people who have problems sleeping if they are stressed, if they are anxious. Even when I'm anxious and stressed or whatever, I sleep well.
Yeah, I don't
So,
have that
so, so,
problem.
so,
Yeah.
so, so, so sleeping is something and that's why I dream sometimes. I have some weird dreams sometimes, but it is very less, maybe once a month, something. Yeah,
Huh.
I do not much. I'm just, by the time I go to sleep, I'm so tired, or I make myself so tired because I need to have that deep sleep, because for this PhD work or whatever, I have to work continuously in front of a computer for a long time, and it is hard to sit 10 hours in front of a computer and concentrate on it.
This is something people tell me a lot about. Like I've seen people usually take very quick breaks, like very frequent breaks. I
Yeah,
don't
I
do
do
that.
that. I don't do frequent breaks. I take just a lunch break, and sometimes if I'm sitting, but I think at this point I just got used to it, used to sitting for a long time working and getting it done. And I it is not something I'm doing it forcefully. It is something that is okay with me, and I just schedule a lunch break and a coffee break, uh, kind of a 1 hour lunch break and a half an hour coffee break in between.
Ah, I see. I also prefer doing things at a stretch, which is something that contributed towards me being an night owl because in the day you get interrupted a lot.
I'm also night owl.
Yeah,
I'm
but in
also
the
more of a
night, like
night
you have
person.
gone through all the interactions, now interruptions, now
It
no
is my
one's,
time.
yeah,
It's
like
like
I can
my
do
time.
whatever I want. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for me, being
I
a night
might
owl.
just be working. I might just be working, but I can
Yeah,
work
yeah,
8 hours
yeah.
at a stretch if I want to. No one's gonna come and interrupt me. No one's gonna call. No
Exactly.
one's gonna text me.
So I really now try not to bring my work home. I try. It's not successful, because
I'm
sometimes
working
I
from home,
have.
so I don't have
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
option.
for you, yeah. I try not to bring my work home, but whenever I have to bring it, I make sure I bring that work home about which I care about. And about, because I am not going to spend my night, if I have to work on night, I am not going to spend in on something that I do not care about. I will bring the part of it with me at home of which I care about, because it is like, my thing. I get to think about it. It is my time. No one is interrupting me. No one is coming and asking me for updates. I can just, yeah,
That is very true.
yeah,
That's very true. I also like you mentioned about like some people thinking that you are emotionless and some people thinking you are too emotional. I have that weird thing as well. For me, most people think that I'm not emotional because I
uh-huh.
like they see that they are caring about so many different things while I just don't give a shit.
Hmm.
And some people, especially my mother, thinks that I'm over emotional. I don't know why. Actually, I know why. I just don't. I just disagree. Like for her, she has seen me from a much earlier age.
Yeah, and she's her mother. She knows you like no one else does in the world. So of
Yeah.
course.
Although I don't think she knows me that well, which bothers her a lot more
I
than.
mean, she might not know one aspect of you, you know?
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a
Yeah,
good
she,
point.
she, she it's
But
not like she
but that
doesn't know you.
kind of
Yeah.
freaks her out. Like she knows that she doesn't know me enough, and she doesn't like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe she
I
wants
understand that I sympathize with her on that,
mm,
but I can't really help her on that.
yeah, 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 I understand. But maybe communicating things in a way like, okay, mom, this is how it is going to work with me, because I am different from other people, Every person is different. This is what works for me. This is what does not work for me. And this is how I am framing my life. And because after a point, I don't think our parents have control over. I mean, I think in this whole planet, no one has control over anyone, not your parents, not no one. And as children we rely on them for a bit of time, but after a point when we grow up, when we kind of have our own world views, when we develop our own philosophies, and I at that point I don't think anyone can interrupt us, and they can give us suggestions, they can give us advices, but it is also up to us if we choose to take it or not. And it has to be it has to come to a point where they just need to accept it. I had conversation with my parents where I just said it to them that this is how it is going to work, because you can understand, right? I'm in Germany and there are a lot of things I do that they do not approve of in the Indian society. uh, so I mentioned that, and there was a point they were like, "Oh my God, you are just changing." And I'm like, "No, you have to listen because this is who I am. This is how. If you do not accept me with the good, the bad, the everything, then I'm sorry. I cannot help you with this." But then they came around, Of course, my mother, of course, everything, she's much cooler than my dad. And then my mom, I think, also explained my dad about things like, she's outside, she's being responsible, she's, um, uh, so we also have to allow her to grow up in her own way and to find answers to her own life's quest. I think we all do that. And
The conversation never came up, but that is something I noticed and something that I appreciate about you. You kind of noticed that mix. Like, see,
yeah.
like most people, like almost anyone who knows me personally, mostly have the second one of the either conception.
Hmm.
People don't really try, or in most cases, they don't really can uh,
Hmm.
break through layers. And I understand, like, I don't blame them for it. But you were one of the very few people who kind of noticed that, like, were able to notice, I should say, that, like, there are stuff I don't give a fuck about, which is pretty open. But
Yeah.
it's like there are also stuff that I care about. Like, that
Of
is something
course.
most
Yeah.
people, I can understand why they can't see it, but you were one of the very few people who successfully
Yeah.
noticed that.
I think I also see this because, for me, at least in my mind, because I am a person for whom two different things can exist in a same person. Two different things can coexist because I am also a person for whom it does. There are a lot of paradoxes that exist within me as a
Yeah.
person, and I have been in a self discovery journey like ever since my childhood because I'm so curious about myself, that I have noticed that I am this, but I am also this. I can be a PhD student, but I am also an artist. I can be this. I can coexist. It is not like I just have one label. So I also think this is, if I see it in you, or if I see it in any other person, I also have noticed in one or two other, very few, very handful, one or two, let's say. I have noticed it in some people as well. Uh, I have seen things coexisting and coexisting beautifully. And that is something not foreign to me. And that is something that does not intimidate me. For me, I'm like, okay, he can be an asshole, but he can also do this. So I have to respect him for what he's doing there because I cannot do that and I have to learn that. It comes from that place of knowing that two things can coexist in a person at the same time. And it is okay. It is okay because that makes you you, that makes you unique, that makes you like, yeah, like no one else in this planet, and that's how you will be contributing to the world. So I think having that sense of, because I have also been part of conversations where I have heard people judge you
I'm not surprised.
in
I
terms.
kind of
I
know
have
that
been,
people judge me a lot.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
didn't
I
care
have
about it.
been part. I have heard their points of view as well. I have heard their opinions about it, and to a certain extent where I also felt like, yeah, this part is true. I mean, it sounds like being responsible, it sounds like being, so when you are saying all this, it makes sense, everything that you are saying, it completely makes sense. But then it is not like I stop there. It is not like I will go to the extent of mocking the person because of that. I will also come back and think that why he did what he did, because if I were in his place, maybe I would have done something similar as well. Because so I know at the end of the day what thoughts I'm reserving for a certain person to myself. And I think that is the one that matters the most. And so it is for me. For me, it's like, yeah, it's many things can coexist within a person, because, and I think it does, because there are people, this sort of people, uh like us, we kind of really go so deep into introspection of ourselves. Like we are like, okay, we can be this, but we can also be this, but we can also be this, majority of the people are not even asking these questions. Maybe they
Yes,
also
very true.
have it. I mean, they also have it within them. It also coexists in them. It coexists in everyone. I think everyone has like 100 different personalities in them
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
totally.
really.
It's never black and white with anyone.
No, it's never. You can never put anyone in a box. That's what I'm just telling you about the concept of a box, right? You can never put anyone in a box, but it is like how much they are willing to look into themselves, how much they are willing to know about themselves and be okay with it.
Yes,
There are
completely.
people who know about it, but then they are still trying to get defensive about it, like, no, I'm not that, I'm still this, because
Yeah.
this is the personality of me which most of the people approves. So I'm just going to play along with that because this is my image in front of people.
Yes, yes.
So so we do not do that. we we
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
we are messy,
For a lot
we
of people,
yeah.
it's a bit of comforting to know they are part of a community, so they
Hmm.
prioritize fitting in over
Yeah,
finding themselves. So
yeah,
as you mentioned, that some people might know who they are, but they're
yeah,
defensive
yeah, they're very
against it.
defensive. Yeah.
Because uh, they want to be someone others think they are, so they can fit in instead of risking losing that connection and being who they
Exactly,
are.
exactly, because they're afraid.
Yeah.
It stems from a very like a place of insecurity, let's say.
Yes.
If you are
Very.
very secure about yourself, you will, I think, if a person is very secure about themselves, that person will not think bad of anyone. Even if the other person is doing whatever the shit to them, they will be just like, okay, he did something, their problem, not mine. I was not involved. No, you have to reach. I think the main goal, at least for me, is to reach to a point where I can be so at peace with myself and so secure about myself that nothing else around me can move me. And because everything I am thinking, my thoughts, my good thoughts, bad thoughts, whatever, it's under my control.
Yeah,
And
very true.
it's just stoicism principle, right?
Yeah, it is. Yes,
That,
it
that,
is.
that, that, that I
Yes.
cannot control outside events.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, this thing is working. The stoic reading of words. So I have this guided sleep meditation about stoicism these days. So that's why maybe I need to come out. Oh my god,
Okay, okay. Now,
maybe I'm being
if
a
I
little
were to
too.
boil it down to a very simple set of term, it's
Hmm.
if I like the core principle of stoicism is care about what you can control, don't
Yeah,
let what you cannot control affect you. That is the core
exactly. Core
stoicism.
principle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now
So
it works. It builds up on that, giving you many frameworks, many philosophies, many
yeah,
histories and
yeah,
stuff. But the
yeah.
core thing is that is the core part.
Exactly. So that's it. Basically, if you are a very secure person, like as a person, as if you're very secure about, even though maybe you didn't have good marks, maybe you didn't do great in your career, but even if you didn't do all that, you can be secure. You can be secure emotionally, you can be secure as your personality can be very like oh, okay, I mean when you are secure, you will never seek out competition. You will
Yeah.
never seek out competition. You will seek out collaboration at that point. You will
Yes.
never, because you will see the good in everyone,
Yes.
and you will be like, I want to take this, I want to take this, I want to take this, and we collaborate. I think in India, the competitive mentality is a little bit because people are insecure constantly.
But the thing is,
Because
it's
about
not just India per se.
Mhm.
Like it is
Yeah,
very common everywhere.
even in
Uh, uh,
US.
Yeah, it is common everywhere. Like the label varies, but it is quite common everywhere. I can see where you are finding the differences because you have come from, like, you moved from India to Germany,
Exactly.
but you did
So
not
for
grow
me,
up
I
in
have
Germany.
the yeah,
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 you
yeah,
did
yeah.
not grow
True,
up in
true,
Germany.
true.
If you
Yeah,
grew up
yeah,
in Germany, I'm sure you would have noticed very similar things.
yeah,
Not in
yeah,
a similar way, but the concept would be similar.
yeah, yeah.
But you have
True.
moved there and you have came into a closed world within
Yeah,
Germany.
exactly. Closed work, and also at a point where I am also matured enough, or I'm working with colleagues who are
Yeah,
matured
that
enough
is also true. That is
uh,
also true. You
to
are not
know
a
these
child.
concepts as well. Yeah, they also know these things as well. So, uh, so the security comes with. I mean, I know people who earn like a lot, like every month and everything, but are still so insecure about themselves. They are
I get
still
it.
insecure because they think that they couldn't achieve some things and the other person is, and it is their duty to bring that person down, even though they're doing great in their life if they are earning
Yeah,
lots,
yeah.
but that insecurity is killing them.
Yes, very true. And
um
if the thing is, I see that a lot. Like unfortunately, I see it is quite common in people that, let's say, they know someone with equal amount of capabilities, or even if maybe they know someone they think are not as capable
yeah,
as them, and they
yeah,
see them succeeding more than them,
yeah,
then they come down in a negative road where how they are succeeding, they might have done something wrong, they might have cheated. Instead of that, they
exactly.
should be thinking in this way, that if they're really not as capable as me and they are doing better than me, then it's an indication that I can do better. Not,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be an indication that they have cheated. It should be an indication that if they can do it, I can do it too. But unfortunately,
I,
people don't take that direction.
I'll give you a very cool example that I think you can relate to this. So our Indian parents' mentality a little bit is like, oh my God, he's performing well, you know.
I hear
So
that
you,
every day. Oh,
you
it's
know,
so
no, no,
it's
no.
so
So
irritating.
I'll just give you a very recent example. So I have started handling conversation very differently now, you know.
Okay.
Like it's a reverse psychology thing which
Okay.
I'm working on. So I have a cousin who is doing her PhD in US as well. She's younger than me, no, and like 1 or 2 years. She's doing her PhD in US, in Ohio, and she, I think, got
Wait,
invited.
how?
How?
I mean, she's younger than you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you did
2 years
PhD.
younger. No, no, 2 years. So,
How
so
is
I'm in my
she
third
doing?
year, and she's in my first year. She's in first year. She just joined her PhD, and she
Okay.
works with material sciences
Now it
and
makes
stuff.
sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she works with material sciences and stuff like that. And they, I think, have a tie-up collaboration project with this Durgapur steel plant thing, and their hydroelectric power, whatever. And I think for that reason, somehow their project won a grant or something. I'm not exactly sure about the details. But she got basically invited because she's the only Indian person in the project, in that project. She, I think, received an invitation from Tata, Jamshed, sorry,
Oh, nice.
Ratan Tata.
Oh, fuck. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy
yeah, yeah,
himself.
yeah,
Okay.
the guy himself, to
That is an
when she's,
experience. I
yeah,
really
so
respect that guy.
yeah, yeah, he will be visiting Durgapur in December, and she is around. She's invited in his place to
That
have it.
is
So,
cool,
so
man.
this is a very prestigious thing, you
Yeah,
know.
that is very cool.
And it's a part of the research and whatever. So my mom came to know about it, you know, and so she was like telling me that, you know, this happened, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what she like reaction she was expecting from me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy! Like it's such a proud thing. I'm going to write to Mama, you know, this is such a great thing. And she completely went numb, okay, and she was like. And I don't know what she was expecting, okay, and she was like, after a while, she said, "You don't feel like doing stuff like this, right?" I know. Why should I? I don't work with material science. I mean, why should I?
Oh, this happens to me so much. This happens to me so
And
much.
and she was in such a false position. She was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because
I have very
but I
similar
love to
conversations so
scandalize.
much.
I
I
love to
have very similar
scandalize
conversations so much with my
because
mom.
because right now I'm in a state where I understand these things, and I'm not going to enable these things. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
going to enable these behaviors when I
Yeah.
notice it. I have to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
I cannot just go and say to her, like start arguing or something. I will just do a reverse psychology, and I'll just be like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm really very happy. I mean, what is there not to be happy about it? Like, it's a very good achievement.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Someone of our family, and she's a young PhD student. She has such a bright career ahead. Wow, this is a great thing. My mom was like, huh? So these things come from this. So even if now if someone tells me that, oh, this person is doing so well, and I'm like, I'm so happy. No, at first I'm genuinely happy.
Yeah,
It's not something I'm faking it. I'm like, oh my. So my thing, at least at this moment, is more like, if I don't know something, I want to know more about it. And if someone is doing better than me, I'm like, okay, great. I want to know how you got there, so I can also reach there someday. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
so
yeah.
that is
It should be a positive feedback loop.
it is a very positive feedback for me. For me, it is a very positive feedback. And yeah, I'm scandalizing my parents like this these days. It feels like, and they don't know where it is coming from, because they are not used to having these conversations. They are not used to,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. That's true. And like a part of that insecurity also comes from not from themselves, but from the perspective of their child. That is something very common in Desi parents, I've seen.
Their child
Like
in the
it's
sense.
like us, we are their child.
Yeah, from us. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also think this insecurity that they have is like a projection of the society. I mean, I also
Oh, of
think
course
at
it
some
is.
point,
Of course it
I
is.
al- I also at some point think, if there was no noise from the society, our parents would never ever think or say stuff that they sometimes say to us, or they think in a way that if it was just left to them, and they had no pressure from society, they had no external pressure, they would just let us do what we want to do.
Yes,
Trust me.
yes.
They would want us to be safe. They
Yeah,
would
that
want
is
us to
true.
make some
That
money.
that is very true.
Uh,
The thing is, they are more puzzled with them having to answer to the society,
mm,
not being puzzled themselves. Like they they quite often get bombarded with maybe they are not ill intentioned, but the question still comes like তোমার ছেলে কি করছে? So
of
they
course.
feel puzzled
Being
how to answer that, and that brings up their insecurity, and that
that
in
makes
a
them
way comes up.
anxious. That
Yes,
makes them
exactly.
extremely anxious. And this is something, and the fact that the people who are asking তোমার ছেলে কি করছে is also coming from a point that they feel that their children are secure enough to say, because I mean, I also tell it to my mom sometimes, to my parents, that do not say things like that, because tomorrow I might lose my job and I might have nothing to do, and then they might ask you, "Tomar mein ki korche?" And that would be like a very tricky situation for you to answer.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
not go.
Yes, yes.
Because
Sometimes
you don't know.
sometimes it is genuinely people using others to boost their position. So the questions are more like
Mostly,
uh,
mostly.
yeah, that is mostly, but sometimes it's not uh, that ill intention. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
genuine
Sometimes
curiosity that
genuine
yeah,
query
but
that I don't know about him for a long time. What
yes,
is he
yes,
doing?
yes, yes. But
Yeah.
since parents get the same questions asked so many times that they don't differentiate between that. They kind of it forms into a group of combined insecurity that then
Maybe you
they
should
make them
talk to
anxious.
your mom to just have a standard reply and say, should I give you his phone number? Can you just call him and ask? Because I also don't understand what he's doing exactly. This would be like a very savage reply, yeah, and this would be such a cool reply.
This
Like,
is
and
his calendar. You can book a meeting.
yeah, it's like his calendar is pretty booked. We also don't get much slots there, but maybe you can try and ask. I mean, and, you know, I think she should really reach a point of humor at this, like at a point where she can deal with humor. It's like, oh, ছেলে, I mean, করছে যা ইচ্ছা। I mean, আমরা কি বলবো? আমরা তো কন্ট্রোল করতে চাইনি ওকে। ও যেটা ইচ্ছাও করছে।
Oh, that is very funny.
So
That is
this is
very funny.
also
I should figure out a reply for her.
yeah, because I think dealing it with humor is the best way to deal with this sort of things, because then the other person who is asking the question, they do
No
not have
idea how to
a
counter
fucking
that,
idea that
yeah.
huh, she's taking it so lightly that then really it must be not such a big deal, or even if it is like
Like,
they are
how
not
do I
bothered.
respond
Yeah,
to that?
yeah,
Yes,
they don't have a clue. Yeah, so it should be like a very cool, genuine reply that yeah, he's living his life.
we should
Like
start an
he's
Indian
figuring things
parents
out.
helpline channel.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I think I give my parents like regular counseling sessions this day. Like regular counseling on weekends. Oh my God,
Oh, that
like
is so funny.
let the children be. I mean, they
Oh, that is very
good.
true. The
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
thing is, like, since I'm doing something different and you are doing something different as well, you
yeah.
probably face this as I have become the go-to counselor for cousins and stuff. Like when they don't know
Uh-huh.
what to
Oh
do,
yes. Oh my
I
God.
become the person who needs to counsel them, and they're usually happy with my counseling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
I know.
almost feel like I
I'm
should
the
start
cool
charging.
cousin now, I'm the cool cousin, even to the cousins that I didn't have very good terms with before. Even because just now I have the NRI tag, So I'm the cool
Oh yeah,
cousin
yeah.
now just because of having it. And anyway, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I have the tag that like when someone is confused and they don't know what to do. Like I'm someone they know who is not doing the general thing. So
yeah.
he might know the have the answer.
So I think they are like, okay, I'm fucking confused, and this guy has figured out like I think he has faced all the confusion in his life that he needs to be fixed, and has figured out a way to do his own shit.
And
Oh, good.
since we are curious people,
Hmm.
and besides being curious, I'm also good with understanding people themselves.
Hmm.
So that combination gives me a overwhelming positive review from that whoever confused the cousin is. Like
Yeah, yeah,
then my parents, like they don't directly call me, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they don't
yeah.
directly call you either. First we
No, no,
talk to
no,
our
no, no.
parents and
Of
then
course,
talk to us.
yeah, of course. They are like, is she available? And I feel so important now.
So similarly, they of course go through my parents,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
after that they also share the feedback with my parents,
yeah,
and they are
yeah.
surprised that they don't see us as someone wise. Like we
Exactly.
are their kids,
Uh,
we are dumb
we are
people for
we are
them.
like exactly, and we are giving such great advices to them. So I'll tell you one instance. So it's not only with my cousins at the moment, but also with. So my mom has all these tuitions, at
Oh
home,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
also teaching. Yeah,
Oh yes, yes, yes.
you know. So these kiddos somehow they know that I was someone back in St. Mary's, Ratula was and somehow she's now in Germany doing her PhD. So they don't know the stories in between, whatever happened, but then relate St. Mary's and PhD, you know, kind of. And then their parents think, oh wow, she is a great example for
She has the answer.
she has the answer to all our queries. Okay. So this time I went home and like last December, and my mom
You
was like,
only go Kuchbehar in December because December is
yeah,
sometime
yeah.
when I'm outside.
No, no, no. I only go to December because here it's the Christmas holidays and everything.
Yeah, I understand that. But December
Yeah,
is
yeah. It's
sometimes
hard.
I'm never going to Kuchbehar. So
Yeah, I know. But we will meet. No worries. We
yeah,
will.
definitely.
Yeah. And virtually now everything is possible.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so
We
uh,
have a podcast. They don't.
yeah, exactly. So this parent and my mom knows that if she says all these things to me that someone wants to meet me, my first reaction is, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't know what to say. What will I say? I am figuring out my shit. What do I, I'm sort of. So my mom has been telling me this for 1 month before I was supposed to go. She was like, so she wants to come and talk. Please behave, okay? Like, please answer well and everything. Like, please listen. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'll do it. someone I don't know. This is like a random person asking me for career advice, like literally random.
Oh,
I
it's like okay, like for me it's limited to relatives,
no,
but
this is not a
even
relative. This is
yeah, I know, like you are
like
going much beyond that. For me, it is limited to relatives, but when it comes to relatives, it's often relative I didn't even know
ah.
that they
Okay,
existed.
okay, okay. No, no, no. For me, relatives are most people I know exist, but this is something very rare, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to say. So then, she came and she's in class 10. I think she was in class 10 that time, and she was just going to give her boards and stuff like that
Oh,
next in
I did have a like counseling session, if you call it, with some juniors and medias. Like
Okay.
they know me through
How did it
online and
go?
stuff. It went good. Like my counseling sessions
Okay.
always goes good.
My
Like
sessions are also very
I should
productive.
start. Yeah, I should
I
start a
don't know how.
profession like professional counselor.
I don't know how it is productive. My parents don't know how it is productive, but somehow
Exactly,
it is
my
productive.
parents have no clue. Like how these guy.
Yeah,
I don't understand
they're
anything
like
about this
they're
guy,
like
and they think that this guy understands them. How?
they're
I,
like this session was happening in front of my mom, okay,
oh
because my
fuck!
mom was also the teacher, okay,
Oh Lord!
and but I don't care at this point, and so the girl came, and her mom and dad also came. I'm
Oh
like,
shit!
what? And bought
Oh
all
shit!
mishti and stuff,
Oh
and like
fuck!
because I came and everything, and I was like, what is happening? What am I supposed to do here? you know and then they were like, so we have already we just want to know that this path that she's choosing now is to go and take some coaching after 10th, and yeah, getting this and that, this doctor for preparing for MBBS and everything, and then do this. Do you think it is the right way? And blah 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 blah. And then they went on and on, okay. And after a point, I was like, "Can I say something, Auntie?" And I was like, "Look, I am not someone who supports all this extreme coaching so much. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to say to you that it's one thing that I get to talk directly with the kid. It's another thing with their parents are talking. Okay." And then I said that no, this is something I don't really. Then I asked the kid directly. So what do you want to do? Like, what do you like? What is your thing? So then she said that, yeah, I want to be a doctor, because I can completely understand she has never thought about anything else other than being a doctor her whole life,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
whole life.
completely. Yeah. I did,
Because
as I said, I had no answer to that question when I was in school.
yeah, and in class 10, and I also said to her parents, in
Even
class
in
10,
12th,
trust me.
like even in
Yeah,
12th, I
yeah.
didn't have that answer.
I say that we have nothing figured out, and whatever. No, so they were very disappointed. All three of them were
Okay.
very disappointed about some, no, about some marks that she didn't
Oh,
score
okay.
well in one terminal exam or in one mock test. I don't know. And they were like, "Oh my God, her future is ruined. I think it is not." And I'm like, how can you say this in front of your girl? Like, she's listening to you. Do not tell things like that. Like, she's going to do great in her test, she's going to, and even if she does not, it is fine. I messed up my 12th results. I still turned out fine. I mean,
You
I,
did?
I got something in my 80%. I didn't score a 90 or
Oh,
something.
I don't remember. Huh.
Yeah, and
Not that it matters.
my parents were disappointed in me, after that.
I
And,
somehow got 90. I don't remember how.
yeah, I mean, and
Like this is kind of strange with my school phases. Like I kind of scored good marks, not maybe because I actually understood the stuff, although I never prepared for exams themselves. Like
yeah,
maybe like not
no,
completely. Anyway.
for me, I think class 12 was the point where I was, so, for me, I tried to go in depth with everything that is going on. And in 11, 12 syllabus is so huge that you really cannot go in depth with everything that is going on. You have to be a little bit choosy about, a little bit smart about, okay, this, I'll go this. So I didn't do the skimming that well.
No. I
Let's say.
had that problem too, but like I always had that problem to be honest. But which is why there are small tests that tutors or schools and stuff like I never did good in them, most of them.
Hmm.
Like generally, I used to be bad at that.
Hmm.
But by the time exam came, I would have completed the stuff
Mhm.
one by one. So that
So
kind
so
of
so
worked
so you
out in the
kind of
long run.
bought your time there, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
kind
I
of
understand.
worked out. Like I
Mhm. So anyway, so I just told them, look, I'm going very honest. It doesn't matter. She didn't score well in one test. I mean, it doesn't And they were like, yeah, yeah, I understand. They were really like, yeah, okay. So that means it doesn't matter. No, no, it doesn't. It is completely fine. I mean, she's going to do whatever she wants to do with her life. And then they were like, what do you think about this coaching that we were? And I'm like, personally, I'm very against coaching, but it
I
is
am
your
too
choice. It
now.
is your children. It is your child, your choice. Talk with her, understand where she's coming from, understand it. And you know, so I had the idea that when they came speaking with me, they already had something in their mind which they just wanted to get a validation of from me again.
That is usually the
And
case. I know.
yeah, it is not like they came with an open mind to take some advice. It's not
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That is usually the case.
So when I sense that, I do not try to push that much. I just say that mostly like, okay, so this is if you feel this is the right way, then of course go ahead. But just know that just scoring some bad marks in something doesn't mean the end of the year. Or so you can always start over. You can always start from scratch, no matter what the situation is. And it is very hard to convince these parents sometimes. So I didn't even try much. I just said that, and they were pretty. Yeah, my mom was pretty impressed. My mom later told me that, oh my God, how you talk to them. It was good. It's like, mm-hmm, I can talk.
That is
Mm,
very good. Uh,
yeah.
the other thing about being different and
Hmm.
being somewhat confident at being different. By confident, I mean being comfortable with being different.
Hmm.
You somewhat attract others who are also different, but probably are not as comfortable at being different as you
Yeah.
are. Like that is something that I've seen throughout my life, that uh, we kind of become a refuge for the people who
Yeah.
feel out of place. That has
Yeah.
happened a lot. I don't complain
For
about
me
that.
as well.
Yeah, I
For
don't
me as
complain
well.
about that. Do you
No,
have some kind of
sometimes
insight on that?
so insight in the sense, yes, I have been refuge of a lot of people who were different because I think I have a very interesting mix of friend circles, let's say.
Yeah,
It's not like
I
I
think so
have
do I have a strangely very like
varied. Like it's I cannot.
yeah, like way too much better. In fact,
Yeah,
like you would imagine that for me, like who doesn't usually go out and talk to people. Considering that, I have a surprisingly way big circle of friends and
exactly.
acquaintances, and they're quite
Exactly.
varied, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
nice. Like, yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
No, 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 it's okay. So for me, also am in contact with friends back from school in some cases. I have friends for different aspects of myself. I have friends who are
Same,
just
same
for
here.
hanging out, and not I would not go too deep, and I know I cannot go too deep and everything, but they're good people to hang out with sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I have
and
friends with.
I
Yeah.
also like that is quite common, and I don't push it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I also
like,
don't push it. I don't put
yeah,
much energy in it as well.
yeah, like
I just
you
do
can
it.
sense that you are not gonna get it back. Why
Exactly,
push it?
exactly, exactly. I don't push it. I have friends with whom I can go on speaking like about anything and everything on the planet Earth and everything, like we are doing right now. And I might not be in contact with them for years or months, but when we are talking, it feels like nothing
That is
changed.
the case with me a lot. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, people who know me well know this, that maintaining contact is not something that I'm good at.
Exactly. I
They
am
just,
neither. I am not. I am
if
terrible.
someone is expecting that out of me, they don't know me well.
No, there are a lot of messages in my inbox that I forget to reply to. I do forget.
No,
And
I have gotten better at that. I don't
I am
reply
trying to get
instantly.
better.
I never
Yeah.
instant reply, but
No, no.
I kind of reply within 24 hours.
Yeah, no, I am not that great. And and I think they're the people who really know me, and I'm lucky that there are people like that who do. Uh, for them, they know my commitments in my professional life. They know that I am busy and stuff, but they also know that I care about them. Like they know I have a caring side of me. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
unemotional completely.
Yeah.
I have a caring side as well. So they are okay to hold out that space for me. And I think these are the people for with whom I have maintained the greatest friendship and the greatest contacts I can ever imagine. And there are some beautiful memories that I have created with them. There are some things I would never have experienced. So I have people like this. Then I have people with whom it's strictly professionally in professional and intellectual conversation, just intellectual conversation, nothing else, like nothing personal or something about personal. They don't know me, my personal life that well or something like that, but I can go talking to him or her about religion, caste, about politics, about books, about things like that. So I can go on and on and on and on. And then there are people who are a combination of a little bit of these deep thinkers and these intellectual, and also people I care about, So there are also very one or two people maybe like that who would be there, and these are the people I think who are kind of refuge, if I might say, because they are not someone who are extremely confident about themselves, and are not confident being outcasts a little bit, let's say, they are not confident, and then they see me, and then they also ask me sometimes that, I don't know how you do it or carry it so effortlessly or do it and take pride in it. And I'm like, yeah, it's something, I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think we can do it together. Like,
Yeah.
if you really, so it's also giving back to the
Yeah,
world a
it
little
kind of
bit
feels
in a
very
way.
fulfilling. Like
Yeah,
it
it's a very fulfilling.
it can be like it is quite resource intensive in some way. Like you
It
are
is
putting
also
up,
exhausting. It's
yeah,
also
yeah,
because you're
you are
mentally
putting,
invested in the
yes, yes,
person.
yes, exactly. But it feels worthwhile. Like even if you might feel a bit tired after contributing to that,
Mm.
I feel it feels very wholesome. Like it feels
It's very
good that you,
wholesome.
yeah, that you have contributed positively towards
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. It's just a very wholesome experience, and so yeah, like I say, I have very different types of people I go around with all the time. I do not, yeah, and yeah, I'm just fine with people being themselves. I do not have this thing in my head that I mix with only a particular kind of person. I do not have this thing.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
I
You never
cannot.
had that. Like
No, 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 no.
people
I had
people
a
sometimes develop this over the years, but you kind of
yeah,
had this
yeah, yeah. I
positive
had
side throughout your life.
and I had this thing very ever since my childhood.
Yes.
I mean, some of my best friends were not even people who were ranking at the top of class or something. So it was fine, and it was fine with me. It was fine for me to be as competitive or to be as studious or whatever I wanted to be, and it was also fine for me to come back to a place, to the ground, and just to be with friends that I wanted to have. So for me, I always kind of had this sort of a little bit of a thing, and now it has even increased. It is. So I joke this about this with my mom that I think I have too much friends sometimes. This is a problem. I really think I have too much friends. People complain about not having friends, and I think my problem is I think I have a lot of people going around. Because my mom is like, there is never a time I find you are not doing anything. Because every weekend or something, even if it is not work, there will be times I will be like, if my mom calls, I just talk with her, and I'm like, okay, I have to call her today. I haven't spoken to her in a while, and she's like, how does these people from back in like so long ago you are still? I'm like, yeah, I mean,
uh,
whatever.
I have that problem as well.
Yeah.
I have that
So
problem as well. Like
yeah.
somehow, like somehow, with all my efforts in avoiding new stuff, like ignoring half of the stuff. And
Exactly.
and
still,
yet I'm
still we
busy
are
all the time.
accumulating people. How is this possible? If we are
I'm
so
always busy.
antisocial,
Yes.
if we are so antisocial, if we are so rude, so inconsiderate, so unemotional for some people, how are we still gathering people?
Yes. I'm always busy. Somehow I'm always busy. Like there
Somehow,
are people who get bored
I
after
know.
sitting still for 15 minutes, where I can do nothing for hours and not get bored because I'm doing something that is might a lot of people might consider boring, but I'm
Yeah,
still busy all the time.
I have so many things to do on weekends. That's why people, when they ask me, when my colleagues ask me, yeah, you don't go out, you don't do this. I'm like, I don't have time. And they're like, huh? Like, what do you do? I read and sketch? I'm like, no. Those are the times I'm also thinking about different. And imagine fitting my relationship in all this thing. You can imagine what I put Shoham through, right?
I can
because
imagine.
because I am so busy in my world, in my thing, at that sometimes he just, there was actually a very rough patch that we went through where he just was being like, this is not working out, this is, and I said, and you know what my standard response was? Yeah, it's not working out, walk out. I didn't tell you to stay. Please gladly work out. I don't want to be an inconvenience to you. And he is like, no, Rasula, we make this work. He was the one who was still making sense. I was like, please go ahead. I'm telling you to go ahead. Why? Oh,
This is something funny that I think about. Like, if I somehow get have a girlfriend, I'm
no,
sure
you
she'll,
can. I mean, of
like, I don't
course
have
you
a
can.
problem with that. I just
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like my problem on my only problem towards that is I'm too lazy to put effort in that.
yeah, I know. And like, if you ever find someone with whom you can connect at that level and they can
Yeah,
understand you at that
yes.
level,
And
then
for
I
that,
think
I
it is.
have to go through a lot of people. That is the
Yes,
part I'm very lazy about, and
you do.
hence I am here. But if
Yeah.
I do get a girlfriend somehow, I'm sure the one thing she will be secured about is she'll know that, oh, he cannot cheat on me. He's either too lazy or too
Exactly.
busy.
That, that is the only thing Shoham is secure about me. Even though, so people sometimes ask me how our long distance works. This is the reason how it works. Because I am, first of all, very lazy to go and put that much of effort and investment into another guy right now after so long. And secondly, I do not have time for anything. You might call me even up to a point a bit narcissistic sometimes. I don't know if that is the right term to use, but I'm really busy with myself.
Yeah. I totally get.
I mean, me myself is like a full-time job,
Yes.
maintaining my sanity. Like my
Yep.
sanity,
Yep. Yep.
maintaining my
Yep.
sanity is like a full-time job. Over that, I do another job, so I can have no time for
Yes,
this.
yes. Recently, I have been shifting. Like, not I'm not changing the apartment exactly,
Hmm.
but one of the
Hmm.
roommate left, so I'm shifting
Ah, okay.
rooms.
Okay.
So for an average person, it would be a one-day thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You throw out the stuff, you throw in your stuff, and you are
Hmm.
done. But I
Hmm.
cannot do that. I spent so far I have spent 3 weeks, like I'm not, like I'm spending around somewhere between 1 or 2 hours a day. So like
Hmm.
I'm cleaning a part. So now I have completed the shifting. Like now I'm sleeping in the other room and stuff. Like
Hmm.
everything is here now. But it took me 3 weeks because I jotted down one part, I cleaned it out, I divided into the parts that are useful, the parts that are not useful. Then I brought in my stuff and arranged it in a way that it I won't have to rearrange them later. So it was a whole phase by phase
It
thing.
was a process. It was
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a process.
process.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, even so, I told you I came back from Florence, right? Like from
Yeah.
Italy. And for me, what I do is I have a scrapbook which I maintain and which I
Yeah.
write and which I do
You
this. Okay.
always had that.
Yeah. I always have. I always love to document and the history and stuffs, everything. So
I think you also
I
used to journal. Do you do that still now?
I do not journal as in that, but when I came here, before that, one of my friends back in India, she gifted me a guided journal book, and I
Oh,
and it is like a thing. It's a
that's
very
not for me
beautiful
though.
thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a very beautiful thing, and I just write there on some very significant stuff sometimes, and because there are some pointers basically recognized. So in that way, I still kind of keep a journal of my time in Europe and everything, but I scrapbook is something I do like hugely. Okay, so after this foreign trip, so planning for the trip is a whole different process for me, and then coming back from there, and then
That is my thing too.
writing and like accumulating all that experience and process and writing takes so long to print out pictures, to do this, to do that. So I am busy. I am a busy person. I cannot come from a trip and be like,
Yes.
okay, next. No, I
No,
need
yes,
to
yes. I
process.
like I edit the photos, I edit the clips, I
Yeah,
compile a
exactly.
text, I make a montage, I put it
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I make
yeah,
a
yeah, of
cinematic
course.
travel video kind of thing.
I
So
am
it's an
I am
entire
kind of that
month's
kind of,
work
yeah.
after the trip.
Exactly. So it's like I will show you my journal maybe just pretty getting full, but there are so many things. So it's kind of like a book like this, it's like a
Okay.
thing, and I don't know if I can show you. So these are parts of Zurich, and there are so many things I still have to write. I didn't write it, and there are so many
Zurich
things
is in
going on.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah. So there
Oh,
are
you went
some
there.
things,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
How is
There
Swiss?
are
I
so,
kind of like the Swiss society.
what did you say?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Switzerland is amazing. Switzerland is like the most neutral country in the whole world.
Yes,
They
it
don't take part
is.
in any politics. They do
Yes.
not have an army. I'm actually going
They
to
were new.
Geneva in November.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
Geneva. Yeah,
After having
Switzerland
it,
is
uh,
very near to my place. It's like
oh,
a three
nice,
hours train ride.
nice, nice.
Sometimes work also drives me crazy, and I need to go out. And it's really a blessing that we can do this. This we can
Yeah,
travel like
it
together. We
is
can.
true. This is also something that I
It's
am
a
bad with.
blessing.
Like I'm not good with, like putting work aside and doing something as a complete vacation. So it's usually
I'm also
other
not
people.
good.
Like it's usually
Yeah,
other people
exactly.
planning out,
Exactly.
inviting me. I'm like,
So, she enjoys the entire process of figuring out the hotels, where to go, where to stay, how to reach there, and we are like, we just pay and we just go along. And so because we also do it together, it's not that expensive for us.
ah,
We just book like an Airbnb, and what we actually do is we do not go out for lunch much or dinner. We just buy some things from the supermarket and just cook
ah.
there at home, so we
But
are saving
usually
there.
when you're traveling, the food itself is part of the
I
experience.
know, I know, I know. But in Italy and something, what we used to do is in Italy we ate out, and also like in the farmhouse, we were living in like a 13th century farmhouse, which was very
Oh,
special.
nice. That's fun.
And the host there, so there was an option that we could have dinner there and we could also have the wine from their vineyards and olive oil from their own farm, and we had
Oh,
the so we
nice.
opted for that sort of dinner, like the local
Ah,
cuisine
ha,
sort
ha,
of.
ha.
Yeah, but for
That's
the
nice.
other trips where there is not a lot of like this sort of a thing, I mean, sometimes we would take maybe one lunch out or something, but if there is nothing significant, what we do is we go to the supermarket, buy things, cook at home, chill, full on adda devo, and তারপরে we will just in- invest more on our experiences. Let's say we want to go horse riding this time, and then we want to visit some. These are the two goals because we are getting off only for 3 days, so we will just do
Oh,
that.
just 3 days. Okay. Okay, that
Yeah,
would be jam-packed. That
yeah,
would be
yeah.
jam-packed.
Because Switzerland is damn expensive, and because
Switzerland is
uh,
expensive.
and it is cheaper for us because we are three people going here joining us from Bern, so we are like four people sharing the apartment, so we
Ah,
just split it amongst us, and it's not, so when you travel in a group, it's not that
yeah,
expensive.
that is, there are some advantages like that.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
also have friends. So I have, I, I'm not good with, going with the flow thing, but I don't plan for that long ahead because
Mm.
like I don't care about the planning part of the trip much. It's
Mm.
usually someone else doing the itinerary and those stuff. Is, as you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
me
also
too.
not the person who
Yeah.
handles that. Like once I've got onto the train or flight
Mm.
or whatever, That's when my planning starts. Then I'll learn about everything, to learn about the
Exactly.
place,
Then
where to
exactly.
go,
Then
where
I
to
will.
start from the planning.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we go here first, there, then we'll save up some time. Then
Mm-hmm.
that's where my planning starts. And there I'm full on planning. Like I'm planning out the entire thing
Then
from
you are
there.
in the for no, for me, I'm not great at itineraries or something. I'm really not.
Yeah. I
But
don't
if
care
I
about
know,
itineraries, to be
yeah, yeah,
honest.
yeah, I do not. I also not. But because I know I'm flexible and I will manage somehow.
Yeah,
I
same.
know that much. But what I do is I know I'm going at a certain place and I know these are some of the things I know about the place. I do research about that because I want to. So suppose I want to go to CERN, I will at least a month ahead read about whatever is going on.
Oh, I'm
So I
not
do my
that ahead.
homework. No, no, no. No, no. With these things, I am a little intentional, let's say, and I'm growing intentional about it right now because I think when I am there, I need to absorb, like I need to understand the importance of those things because these are like
Ah,
once in a lifetime things
ah,
that I'm seeing, seeing this, going to Florence, seeing the birthplace of Renaissance. But I am visiting right now certain places which are so impactful.
ah,
I never did it back in India. I never cared
yes.
much about it in India, but in India also there are places where which is so impactful, which is so, and if I go back now, I will of course study a little bit more. And so this is something like, let's say it's a part of intentional traveling for me at the
Ah,
moment. I try to do that because that also then gives me a purpose, and it's also a very good break, let's say, from my daily work because I can get so zoomed in my daily work. Sometimes it is so to have something to look forward to is always pretty good for
yeah.
me. And that is how I plan in the sense that I research about something I'm interested in a particular place, but I'm not one for itinerary. I don't know what is going in day one, day two, day three, day four. I don't know what is going on. I know
Yeah, yeah.
something is going on, but I don't know what.
I just don't care enough. Like I know this is what I want to do. I don't care if I do it in day one or day two or day three.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I just
exactly,
need to get that
exactly.
shit done.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
enough for me.
Exactly. So I also handpick a few things, and I need to do that somehow.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think like we should finally go towards
A
the closing.
closure. Yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
think. Oh my God, I don't know how long we spoke. It's
I'm not sure either because it's recording. So since it's recording, it's not showing the time.
Oh my
And
God, you have so much to edit. I can
yeah, yeah.
understand.
Like I have
But
no hurry in that. So
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
no
yeah. I
big
mean,
deal.
I know you enjoy that part. So to
Yes.
wrap it up.
Yes.
So
To wrap it up, my point would be like now that we have been through our adolescent phases, our teenage phases, which are the main phases where people struggle in figuring out where they
yeah,
stand in it.
or who
And
they are.
yeah, or who they are, and especially being geeks, being a feeling, we comes the additional feeling of being a bit disconnected with the rest of the place.
Hmm.
But we have been through that. Now we are like, luckily for both of us, we have been more confident than a lot of other people we know who
Yeah,
feel disconnected. If we have been
yeah.
more comfortable with being us. But even beyond that, even with that, we have had our own struggles and stuff. So we have
Right,
grown over that. Now we are more comfortable than we were. We know more.
right.
So, what are the things that you feel that you learned and that someone can benefit for when they're
Hmm.
trying to navigate this phase?
Hmm.
Like being comfortable with the geeky part of themselves, being comfortable with being disconnected, feeling disconnected
Hmm.
from the most of the people around them, finding
Hmm.
the purpose of behind their
Hmm.
curiosity.
Hmm. So for me, first part is just to let them know that it is okay to feel disappointed sometimes. It is okay to feel sad sometimes that you are a bit, it's okay. You can cry about it maybe one day, but do not dwell upon it because you have to just know that the fact that you are feeling left out, the fact that you are feeling you are different is not anything bad, but it is kind of like a superpower. And
Yeah, that's a way to look at it.
it's a good way to look at it in this way that okay, I cannot relate to 10 different people, but maybe then it is not some, it might not be something it is wrong with me, but maybe I am different. Maybe I am different, and it is cool to be different. To
Yeah,
really, really
totally.
internalize the fact that it is cool to not follow the herd, and it is cool to know things. I think geeks are the people who wants to know things, right? Know
Yes,
everything of
totally.
everything and everything. And just understand that when you have that sort of a curiosity, when you have that sort of a mindset, you are never going to fit in, because 90% of the people are not even thinking.
Yeah,
You are
totally.
thinking. So you are choosing to think. You are choosing to go beyond what has been told to you. You are choosing to investigate. You are being like an investigator. You are choosing to know the things, and this is something really, really cool. And there is nothing to lose here. If you take this path, or there is nothing to lose. Yeah, there might be a few people telling you, oh, this is not how it works, this is not, you are different, you are different. But just listen to yourself. You know what you want. You figured out what you want slowly in your life. And I think the thing which has helped me most is to surround myself with as many people as possible who cheers me on, who are supportive, who are. So I am creating an environment around me. I am creating a very strong support system around me, so that whenever I'm down or whenever I have one of those days, I can immediately be like, okay, I'm not feeling that great. I can just call up a friend, or I can just text a friend, like, okay, I'm not feeling that great. Can we talk? And it's like creating some genuine connection, like really creating genuine connection, not fake friendships, not like, you know just browsing. It's creating genuine connection with people, so to just you have someone to fall back to when you really hit those days. But otherwise, just know that knowing things is cool.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is, when you are like, if we, to be honest, there is a bit to lose here.
Hmm.
Like, you might lose a bit of the social connection
You
when
might
you,
lose. Yeah,
yeah,
it is a
you,
cost you pay.
yeah, exactly. It is a cost you pay. Like, you will definitely pay a little cost. Like, you
Yeah,
might
yeah, yeah.
not be able to enjoy some parts of life that other people you know are enjoying. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the thing is, you probably wouldn't enjoy that anyway. Like,
Either way, exactly.
forcing
You
yourself to enjoy something loses the whole purpose of enjoying it.
exactly.
So it's better to enjoy who you are. And
And also, I think it's just important to know that there are people like you. You are
yeah,
going
totally.
to you
Yes.
are going to find your tribe.
Yeah,
You are
totally.
going to connect with. It's not like you are the alien roaming around the whole planet. No, you are not. There are people. There have been people like you before. There are people like you, and there will be people like you in future, who are asking more about things than normal people do. And it is in every way a good thing. No matter you are in whatever field you work on, no matter what, even if you do not work, it doesn't matter. Thinking is a full-time job, like I say.
It
It's a
totally is. It
it is a
totally is.
full-time job. You do not have to be anyone or have an educational background, particular educational background, or a particular, yeah. Thinking can come from anywhere on this earth, from anywhere, irrespective of money, irrespective of status, irrespective of background, culture, doesn't matter. Thinking is a full-time job, and it is cool to think. It is cool to know stuffs. Because if you do not have the urge to know, you cannot think.
Yes. And
So
this is something no one can take from you. Like, people can
no,
take
no,
your
no.
money, people can
Exactly.
take
This is
your
a very good point. Yeah.
resources, but people can't take who you are.
No.
And you are right that initially when you are just discovering yourself, it might feel that you are one person in a place where no one else is like you. But
Yeah.
even if you are just 1% of the 100%,
Yeah.
1% of 8 billion is like 80 million, I think.
80
8
million.
million
Yeah.
at least. Even if it is 8 million, that's a huge quantity. So, like,
No, I
you
think
will
it's
find a
80
way.
million. Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
will find. And trust me, if I say this to you, if Aditya can be this person since his kindergarten, and if
oh
he is,
yeah.
yes, because I know him since then. Um, You can navigate through life.
Yeah.
It is
Having rough
not a
patches
big.
is fine. Having rough
Yeah,
patches is
and
completely
it is
fine. Like,
totally, and even those people, those other people, they are also going through rough patches.
yeah, it's
It's they,
completely
they
true.
I mean, even if they choose the other path, they are facing something which is difficult for them, right?
Yeah, very
You
true.
are choosing a different path, you will face something so the difficulties are there everywhere, no matter what you
Completely true.
choose.
Very true.
So just be yourself, at least be comfortable in your skin, and then face the difficulty and then move ahead. That's that is easier than just also trying to fit in and again facing those difficulties and again
Yes,
having the
yes, yes.
problem that okay, I don't fit in and I again have my own problems.
Yes,
So it's
yes.
just
And plus, forcefully fitting in can be very exhausting.
yeah.
It's not worth it. It's
No, no,
really
no, no,
not
no.
worth it.
We have been there, we have seen it, we have tried. Trust us, it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Can you speak German though?
No, I can say some words. I can say thank you very much, like William Dank or
Oh,
Dankeschön. Um, and I can say good night and I can say gute Nacht. And I can carry on a little bit of a conversation. So if I have to say that uh, my German is not very good and I speak in English, please. So I would say mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. Kann ich English sprechen bitte? So I can say some words,
that's good.
and
Well, I
but
can't
I
speak Odia either, so like I feel it.
so it's yeah, people have asked me because there are a lot of people who come here and just start taking German lessons immediately because for getting here a job, let's say if you want a corporate job, because many people after PhD do not continue in academia. If you have to get a corporate job or something, German is compulsory. Knowing German is
That
compulsory.
makes sense. Yeah, I am aware of
Yeah,
that. I'm aware of that.
yeah, and so they come here and they just do the course and everything, and they were
Switzerland
pretty.
also has this. Like, if you want
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
citizenship of Switzerland, you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
just
yeah,
learn
you
the
need to
language.
exactly. So they have these things, and a lot of people have asked me about this, and I'm like, nope, I'm not taking any lessons. And they were like, why? But why? I'm like,
Okay. I'm kind of geeky about
because
languages as well. Like
yeah,
Germany is not on my top list. Like, I'm
yeah.
currently focused on Japanese. Then I will probably move on to
No,
Spanish.
no,
But
no, but you are doing it. It's a difference. You are doing it for your interest. Someday, if I have to do it just for my interest, I will do it. But I won't do
okay,
it for getting
valid
a
point.
job.
Valid
I,
point.
I would never, I would never go. I will even learn Sanskrit if I have to for my interest, or
I
Hebrew.
do want to learn Sanskrit someday, but it's not
I
on my
also,
priority list because,
yeah.
I
My dad
probably.
knows Sanskrit because
Oh,
it was
seriously?
yeah, because it was his
Oh,
third
yeah. Back
language.
then, yeah. Sanskrit was the third
Third
language in
language
West
was
Bengal.
yeah.
Like
Maybe
my
your
mom
dad also
also,
knows.
my mom also.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
not
okay.
sure about that, but mom knew. Yep.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
about mom, but dad
I
knows.
am in,
And,
I am interested in Sanskrit because currently I'm reading Gita, and for
mm,
during this I'm not gonna learn. I'm gonna complete it with through the
yeah.
explanations and context and stuff. But there are many other scriptures, so preferably I would try to learn Sanskrit before reading them. But
Mhm.
it's not on my priority list. Although
Yeah,
I'm
so
interested, it's not on my priority.
yeah, a lot of people have asked me why I'm not learning German because it's the easiest way to get a job after, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel connected to learn it right now. I when I
You're
feel
working with a lot of Germans, right?
yeah, but in academia, it's an international space, so the language you use is always English. So they also have to
Oh,
learn English. So in academics, it's always English everywhere.
okay. Huh, okay. That is kind of the situation we had in Bhubaneswar, and I still have in Bhubaneswar.
Mm.
Like, people usually in cosmopolitan communications, people usually speak in Hindi, so I never had to learn Hindi.
Right, right. No. That's just true. Yeah, and it's like yeah, I mean there have people because there are people who come here for a PhD and then just they know they will have to do a job, so they just start doing it like learning German from the first year itself. And I have not been that person.
You're planning to pursue further research after this, I'm assuming.
So from where I am, I can speak of where I am right now. and what I'm thinking, it might change in future, I'm not sure, but
Not no
but right
problem at all.
now, as far as I'm thinking, I think I would preferably want to take a little bit of a break, like
Makes
one
sense.
and a half year break, in the sense, not like not doing any job, but
Oh,
maybe I will stick in academia and do something like research assistant, or like something of a low pressure job or something, and I might move to US for 1 or 2 years to stay with Shohom, because he is quitting academia after this, and I would also like to go and stay with him for some time, because this long distance has been going pretty long. It's so it also gives him, because I am also at this place of kind of trying to figure things out, what I want to do, what I not, because I do not immediately want to take up a postdoc. So I think I deserve 1 or 2 years of break. I can afford to take it. 1 or 2 years of break,
mhm.
do some low key work. I want to preferably do something low key there. And in the meantime, like really, really invest in my personal life a little bit, like really preferably we will live in together for a while before thinking of getting married, because I do not want to jump into it. Let's see how we approach this topic. I already dropped the bomb at the house a little bit. It's not going great, but they have to be okay with it anyway. I don't
I'm
know.
sure they'll be okay with it.
They just need
They,
some time to process.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just
Ah.
lightly dropped it.
See,
So,
they wouldn't be okay with it if they didn't know that marriage is in the question. Like they know
yeah,
that
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
in the equation, so they
Yeah,
will be
yeah,
okay
yeah.
with it.
So they just need to process it. So now
Yeah,
it's the
but they will be
processing
okay with
time
it.
itself. Yeah, because marriage is something I do not want to rush in.
Yeah, please don't.
And after such a long distance relationship, I do not. I need we both need time to figure out what we want, and it also, I think, 1.5 years or 2 years is a very good amount of time also for me to understand what I also want to do professionally.
Huh.
If postdoc is really something I want to do, because PhD is a very stressful job, okay, and I
Yes.
had no gap, no real gap. I just went from one thing to another to another to another. I didn't give myself that time, and I really think I need to give myself that time. And in the meanwhile, the low key job that I will do, I will focus on building some real cool skill set in it. I do not care much about the position. I want to earn enough money to make a living of myself, but I want to learn
It
the
still
skill set.
keeps you somewhat connected to the field, though,
Yeah, yeah,
since you
yeah,
will be learning.
exactly,
That
exactly.
is a good
So because
idea.
I have realized this about me, that I am not a person who is kind of like a salesperson, the front face. I cannot be. I am the back end person. I'm the one who is putting in the work, who is doing the shit, and I do not care much about positions or managerial positions. I do not. I have realized this about me recently, and I'm thinking. So I'm also thinking in the direction. So for me, yeah, like I told this to my parents, that this is something I want to do, and they were like, "Oh, this will be like a step down, after your PhD or something." I'm like,
Will it be
maybe to
step
you,
down,
but
though?
not to me. Uh, Step down in
Like
the sense,
technically
like,
speaking, I'm not talking about whether you
technically,
care or not.
no, technically speaking, like if I say professionally,
Mhm.
for most people, it is a step down, let's say, because they would if you are a very career oriented person, you would
Mhm.
immediately go for a postdoc
Mhm.
and
No,
maybe
I'm
do
not
two
talking about
postdocs.
uh, going for postdoc immediately, but being an assistant from what's
No,
your
there are a lot of
designation?
people who do that. So it's like a assistant researcher
Okay, so that's an
or
assistant researcher. Okay, and
yeah, yeah.
right now
And
you
it is
are.
I'm a PhD, and assistant researcher is a position you would do before PhD, maybe a
Oh,
college
acha.
to PhD kind of a
Okay,
transition,
okay,
kind of research assistant or something.
okay.
But research assistant is someone I know who gets to learn a lot,
Yeah,
because
yeah. You just need to find the person you are being an assistant to
yeah.
properly. That's the main part you have to
Exactly.
figure out. The rest is
That's the main part I have to figure out. I have also, because I really at this point do not care about even the university, because I am right now from TUM, and I know I can really get to a really high university and a high level university and get a postdoc there. I know I am capable of that. It can happen with the CV I will have or everything. But I do not want to do that. Yeah, I want to really take time to myself, keep it low for a bit, and learn the skill, learn it, and hone it, because I am not from a pure computer science background, and I need to know more about it. I need time to figure it out. I need time to, because I am
Is
pretty sure I
computer
want
science
to.
that important? Isn't your part a bit
No, because
mixed?
yeah, but I want to specialize more in the technical part right now,
Achha.
because this is something that gives me joy more. I have
Okay.
understood this part, so this is something I enjoy, and this is I want to become a master in the field. So
Ah,
I want
valid.
to really hone my skills. So if I have 2 years in my hand, because if I graduate at 28, I can actually wait till 30 if I want to do a postdoc or whatever. I have 2 years in my hand. I can invest in my personal life. I can do something in my professional life that I care about and I'm thinking about in the future. And then I come back again if I feel like it. And if I do not feel like it, I
Understood.
go to industry. I'm flexible.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, like once you have a bit of achievement in your name, the plan B's and C's are like
Yeah,
abundantly available. That is not the
exactly.
problem.
So for me, actually getting the PhD is the most important thing right now, because this is like I will have this certificate for my entire
Yes,
life. So
yes,
no matter what I do next, whatever I do, I will always feel like, oh, this didn't work out. So I have a degree. I can go through it.
yes, exactly,
So
exactly.
that is the tactics. Yeah. So I will be, I think, taking a break from break in the sense like from the race.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, like it's breaking the right term. Like
Right term.
right
Yeah,
term.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah. I cannot
break is the right
extend
term.
this much
Yeah,
simplify in
I
much sense.
completely understand what you're saying, but I'm
Yeah.
not exactly. I cannot
I
put
know.
it out
I also cannot
verbally either.
verbalize.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot
Same
also
here.
verbalize it, but the yeah, I think we understand each other. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Telepathy.
Yeah, it is a break in the eyes of people who do not understand what it is, but in my eyes, it is more of a preparation time for myself
Yeah,
to
it's
come
kind of
back
both.
stronger.
It is kind of both. Like you are
Yeah,
like you're giving yourself a bit time, but you're not exactly vacationing it out. You are
yeah,
spending
exactly,
it time
exactly.
in a constructive way. Yes.
Very constructive way, yeah. And this is also a time when I know how to figure stuff out, and I also like with personal life, I want to figure the stuffs out, our living situation, how we want to, because we also I am also very much invested in my I want to be someone who is invested in my personal life.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
working towards, I don't know how far I will be successful, but I am, because I realize that you need people. At the end of the day, you will need someone to come back home to. At least I do. And it is something I have to actively work towards more. This is in my goal.
No, it sounds like a solid plan. Like, it
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
makes sense to me. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I guess happy weekend.
Yeah, happy weekend. Take care. And I'm looking forward to this podcast. It was amazing talking to you after so
Yep,
long. Oh my
same
God.
here.
I think
The
we talked more than 4 hours.
I think so. Like I didn't
I think
exactly.
almost five. I think we are almost making it to five now. I don't know if I've spoken so long with someone since a long time anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Here again, Holmes. Congratulations on completing part 3 and ideally the entire series. So, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, please consider subscribing to this podcast whatever platform you're interacting with it at the moment. This is episode 6, so there are already quite a few episodes you can check out from the podcast. And hope to see you soon on the next episode. Till then, keep exploring beyond the superficial. And thanks again for being here. Bye bye.